Hey everybody, Scout Crafty here again. It's Wednesday. We got a few things going on today. Birdhouse Challenge is coming along. Been working on that feverishly. You still got a couple days left. I'll put my email address below here if you have a picture of one you want to send in for the challenge. We're doing good with that. Some good news amongst all this craziness going on. I got an email. Apparently, I have a contact with a Nigerian prince. Who even knew? You know, I don't know how he got a hold of mine, but he did, and I could be coming into some. I don't want to brag. Good amount of cash. Good amount of cash. And I know what you're thinking. Yeah, look, I'm from New York. You know, it takes a lot. You can't scam New Yorkers. You know, so I'm not. I don't have to send. My girlfriend's all like, "Oh, it's a scam." It's not, because he's not asking me to send any money. Just I sent him my routing number so he could send me money. So I'll here in a couple days. I could be, that'll be good. That'll be a nice little addition, and it don't cost me anything. So we'll see what happens. Other than that, everything's going good. So let's see what we got planned for today. Okay, next up, what we're going to do is, you remember the last video we did? We made that little scabbard, and I said, I wanted you to pick the color. So there were so many different people chimed in with what colors they wanted. And I wrote down everyone that suggested a color. I wrote this down. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut it up, put it into a can, and I'm going to pick the color. And then we'll do that live so you can see it. Okay, here are all the colors, and we're going to shake them up good so that there's... Okay, shake it up. We'll reach in. We'll grab only one. They're kind of small in here, so let me get... I got one, I believe, here. Okay, here it is. Now we'll take a look at what this is. Okay, it says green. Okay, so we're going to do the scabbard in green, and I'll also try and make a frog. I'll have that for Friday's video. Excellent. Thanks for helping out with the color, and we'll get right on. Okay, next up real quick, I just want to share a little story. A friend of the show and a friend of the other channels that you might recognize his name, Stuart G. from Australia. His wife Leah and Stuart were in a car, and they were driving on the highway at highway speeds in Australia, and a car... with two people in it, crossed over the highway and hit them head-on at full speed. And the impact was so tremendous that the two people in the car that hit Leah and Stuart were killed. And it put Stuart and Leah in the hospital, and he was driving, he had a vehicle that we don't see here in the States. It was called a Holden Ute, and a nice-looking little vehicle, or it was before the accident, and but... totaled both cars, obviously, and the two deaths from the other people crossing over. But thank God Stuart and Leah survived, and they're in the hospital, but they are on the mend, and they've been there for 2 weeks. And I just want you to wish him well, and maybe in the comments, him and his wife Leah, and they're in the hospital. They enjoy, all the tool channels, and he's catching up on a lot of YouTube. But you know how the boredom gets over there. So on behalf of the channel, Stuart and Leah, I really hope you have a quick mend, and thank God everything turned out the way it is. And I'm sure you'll be stronger when you come back. So. Thanks very much. Okay, next up, you can see the mess I'm making because of the birdhouse challenge, and I have the birdhouse in the back. But I wanted to make some windows, a couple windows for it. And, making windows for birdhouses, it can be a pain. I used to frame them out with matchsticks, but it's very time-consuming. So I was trying to figure out a way to do it quicker and easier. And I think I came up with a pretty good way. Let's check it out. Okay, it's time to make some windows, and how we're going to do it, rather than trying to frame out each window, is I will make, out of that scrap wood that I have left over from the scales, I'm going to make a box section like this, okay? Glue it all up, and then cut it into sections, and hopefully that'll make some decent windows. You know what's funny? As I was cutting those windows out, it made me remember years ago watching late night television. They used to have, long before cable television came along, they used to have these the small businesses would make up their own commercials, you know, especially you would see it. I mean, television was not like it is today. There was a lot of shows on there that looked like they were produced on a dime, you know, like Joe Franklin's show, all these kind of old shows. But I remember some of the old commercials. You'd be up at late at night and you'd see these guys come on there and you know, trying to sell their product. And I kind of remember those amateur commercials. You don't see too many of them anymore. Remember what they look like?
Stop! Are you tired of throwing your money out the window on old and drafty windows? Well, I'm Doug Rydell from the New York Window Factory, and we're running a special due to the coronavirus. Yes, the coronavirus does have some benefits. Well, our technicians are working hard making factory custom-made windows, and we are stocked to the top. So call now. All our windows are made 100% in the United States of America, and we have a special running for 3 windows. Buy 3, get 1 free. And just mention the word Corona when you call. Our operators are standing by now.
Okay, I have a ton of work to do to finish that birdhouse, but we know we need a tool restoration. We haven't done one in a while, so let's get to this one here. This, what you're looking at here is one of Juan Marquez. You know, Juan from Maryland. Our good friend sent a whole box of tools, and this was just on there. And, you know, I have an affection for all kinds of utility knives. I've never seen this type before. First of all, I'm not even sure if this washer setup is correct. It's got 2 washers on there. It looks like kind of a long nut that they would use on here, a bolt setup, but like I said, it came that way. So we have that. The blade comes out this way. And then what's interesting is this. You can see the condition it's in. You see the, you know, the rust and whatever, but you see how it opens up? It slides open. And you can see the inside's in good shape. And this has a kind of a grommet in here that holds it from separating. So you slide it across, and that's where you keep your extra blades. And I think this would be a nice little project, a quick project to do, because we got to get to the birdhouse and finish it. So let's see what we can do. Let's clean this up and get it nice. Okay, here's our post-wire brush evaluation. You can see here that this is the utility knife manufactured by the Modern Specialties company out of Chicago, Illinois. And it is a, you know, it came out really nice, didn't it? And you got to be careful with this because you don't want to go too aggressive with the wire brush or anything else. But we buffed everything out, and we still have to wax it and whatnot. This is a brass grommet up here, so it looks nice. And now the only thing is, obviously, we want to put some color in here, which is what it was made for, you know, but I want to use a clear color, and that's only because this way it doesn't overpower the knife. So let's do some Tamiya clear coat in there, and I think that'll look real nice, and we'll come back when it's finished. Now, what I found so interesting is if you look at their blades for the Modern Specialties company, if you look at the blades here, it has a little cutout, square cutout, which is unlike the other companies, Stanley and things like that, but it still has the top notches that you could use in other knives. So I thought that was an ingenious design. Also, I went on the website, I looked up, I did some research, and I found out that Modern Specialties company still exists, and they still are, they do a great business, and they still produce the same quality products as they did when they were founded back in 1930, and including the knife we're doing today. And depending on the model number, it all depends on what blade you get with the knife. Their prices are extremely reasonable. I will have a link to the description, in the description, on how to get to their website, and I suggest you check it out, because I really, what a nice website and what great products it looks like they have.
Now you know my favorite part. Remember what this utility knife looked like before we started?
And we are calling this project done. What a beautiful knife this is, isn't it? It's just, and look at that with the red in there. See, that's a clear red, you know? And I tried to use the Tamiya, but it just wasn't coming out right, so I went with the Candy, the other paint that I use, and it just came out so nice, didn't it? And it's polished down. This is how the knife works. You loosen it up. These 2 washers are original. Slides back like that. Tighten it up, and it's nice. And when you put it forward like this, you can lock it in any position you want. You can use your thumb on here, or you can, it's very interesting. I think that, especially since it goes back to 1930, when this knife apparently was designed by the company, and it just goes to show you how things can clean up. And really happy with this one. And Modern Specialties Company, Chicago, Illinois. Check
You know, with all this going on and everything with the having to stay inside and whatnot, don't you get a little stir crazy sometimes? You know, sometimes you just have to just get outside and enjoy nature for what it is, don't you? You know, even though I was born a city boy, Queens, New York, every once in a while I get the urge to go back and just enjoy nature. And I'll go out in my backyard and I'll start a fire and I'll just relax and listen to the sounds of nature and smell the clean, fresh night air. Listen to the crickets at night and just enjoy a peaceful night in the city. You know, it's not all what you think it is. Some of it is a little different. Okay, in closing, thanks so much for tuning in. Stuart and Leah, get well soon. Juan, thanks so much for today's project. And all of you, I hope you have a nice day. Take care. We'll talk to you again on Friday. And get those birdhouses finished. Thanks so much. Take care now. Bye-bye.